What's up everyone and welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at an article that lists the world's oldest articles of clothing and various accessories as well. One of the accessories is the world's oldest known purse, and the purse has a wide variety of teeth attached to it. So I guess way back in the day with the caveman, when women were going from hut to hut, it was considered fashionable to have a purse with a bunch of teeth on it. And I would not be surprised if that comes back into style any day now. Another really cool item that's listed is a pair of shoes that are believed to be the world's oldest shoes. They're over 5,000 years old. And the other article of clothing is one that I've already covered before, but we'll go ahead and get to it now so you can see what I'm talking about. If you think some of your favorite duds are starting to show their age, you should see what's been pulled out from the depths of history's closet. According to research on body lice, humans began wearing clothing about 170,000 years ago. The oldest existing fibers known to be used by humans date back to about 34,000 years ago. As clothing is generally made from organic materials such as leather and cloth that disintegrate quickly, only a handful of ancient garments and accessories are still in existence. Here are 10 very old articles of ancient fashions, most of which are still recognizable to today. So think about that. They're saying that humans started wearing clothes around 170,000 years ago. Yeah, I guess I can see that. I mean, that's a long time ago, and that's, it's enough of a time frame for there to be people to realize the capability of utilizing an animal's skin as some sort of clothing. But it just seems like that would have been one of the very first inventions that humanity made. Like, you're starting to freeze to death, so you're just going to wrap yourself up into some sort of skin. But who knows? Maybe it is even older than that. The oldest jewelry is believed to be 130,000 years old. And one note with this article, it's from 2015, so in the past 6 years there might have been some newer discoveries, but as far as I know, this is still the top tier of the record-holding items. In 2015, scientists announced they'd found the world's oldest form of bling. 8 eagle talons, discovered in a Neanderthal site in Croatia. The eagle talons from at least 3 separate birds bore multiple cut marks, notches for stringing, and evidence of polishing, leading researchers to believe they had been worn as part of a necklace or bracelet. The discovery strengthens the claim that Neanderthals weren't slow-witted cavemen, but part of a complex, intelligent society that included religion and art. Researchers say that it's likely the talons were selected for a ceremonial purpose, demonstrating Neanderthals' understanding of symbolism. As the jewelry dates from about 80,000 years before the arrival of modern humans, it's also impossible for the Neanderthals to have stolen or copied the design. Before the discovery, the oldest jewelry in history was believed to be some seashells found in Israel and Africa aged about 100,000 years. The shells were found far inland and showed evidence of having been used as beads. This is actually pretty cool. These teeth. Or talons, I should say. And the oldest footwear. Look at this. This actually looks like only a few hundred years old. It doesn't look almost, 10,000 years. 9,300 years ago, someone was wearing these. That's wild. That would have been really cool to discover these. The oldest pair of kicks in the world were discovered in the Fort Rock Basin in Oregon in 1938, and both shoes were still together. Fort Rock sandals are made of twine sagebrush bark with a flat sole and a toe wrap. Several specimens have been found, with the oldest believed to be somewhere between 9,300 and 10,000 years old. Researchers believe thongs on the sandal would have been wrapped around the ankle and then fastened to the other side. Like this. Hopefully this link doesn't lead to like a bunch of ads all over the place. That's not quite what we were hoping for, was it? Meanwhile, the world's oldest leather shoe was discovered in the Arini 1 cave in southeastern Armenia in 2010. Estimated to be about 5,500 years old, the shoe is a brown leather lace-up for a small right foot, about a US size 7, suggesting it was worn by a woman. Researchers say the shoe was cut from a single piece of leather that was tanned using vegetable oil and shaped to fit the foot that wore it. Oh, that's pretty cool. Got some custom-fitting soles. Nice. It was also stuffed with grass, either as an insulation or to keep the shape of the shoe when it wasn't being worn. Huh, that's pretty cool. Check out this thing. The world's oldest crown, 6,000 plus years ago. The crown was discovered as part of the Nahal Mishar hoard, a treasure trove of more than 400 objects found in a cave in the Judean desert near the Dead Sea in 1961. Dating from the Copper Age, 4000 to 3300 BC, the crown is made of blackened copper and stands about 7 inches in diameter. The New Yorker describes it as being about the circumference of a smallish man's hat. 5 figures adorn the upper rim of the crown, including 2 long-necked birds believed to be vultures, 2 stylized gates or doors, and a T-shaped object that may be the hilt of a sword. It was found alongside a scepter featuring horned animals, a copper-woven basket, and many clay bowls and goblets. Yeah, that thing looks pretty cool. Can you imagine some dude like walking around back in the day wearing that thing? It's like, yo, yeah, like look what I got. I wonder who was the first person that ever wore a crown. You know, they're like, you know what? I'm gonna put this stuff on my head, and then since I have this on my head, it makes me superior to you, and you have to do what I say. It probably didn't go like that. It was probably more along the lines of like a leader was either chosen or people just naturally followed them because of their ability to inspire and lead others. And I'm wondering if there was like a wide variety of leaders, or if it was based upon like your ability to hunt. It was probably based upon your ability to lead the tribe. Because you could be the greatest hunter in the world, like, let's say you're like a knight, but just because you're a really good knight doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily be a really good king. Yeah, something to ponder. Researchers aren't convinced the crown was worn by an actual king in the area, though. Instead, they believe the crown was used in public ceremonies and during burial rites for important people. It is also not clear how the crown and the rest of the treasures in the hoard came to lie in the desert cave for so many centuries. Look at this, the oldest shirt, 5,900 years old. An Armenian cave has turned into an antique fashion warehouse for archaeologists, yielding not only the oldest surviving skirt, oh, that's a shirt? Skirt, my bad. The oldest surviving skirt in the world, but also the oldest known leather shoe. See number 9. The skirt was discovered in the Arini 1 cave in southeastern Armenia. Only a fragment remains, but it's enough to determine the fabric was made from woven reeds, with a counterweave band running along the edge. It's impossible to tell how the entire skirt would have looked when it was first made, or whether it was worn by a woman or a man. However, researchers believe this represents the oldest example of reed clothing in the world. Cool. Along with the skirt and shoes, researchers at the Arini 1 cave were also excited by the discovery of a mummified goat, believed to date from about the same period as the skirt. If estimates are correct, the Armenian goat mummy is about 1,000 years older than most of the mummified animals found in Egypt. That's pretty cool. A mummified goat. I've heard of mummified cats, falcons, humans, but I don't think I've ever heard of a mummified goat. That's interesting. Gotta make sure they got, access to milk and food, when they go to the next life, right? Wow, look at this dress. This is like amazing how well put together this still is. That's so cool. I think that someone was wearing this like 5,000 years ago. Often described as the oldest garment in the world, the Tarkan dress was discovered in an ancient Egyptian cemetery about 30 miles from Cairo. Dating from the First Dynasty or Old Kingdom period, the dress or tunic is made of linen, therefore featuring the earliest known textile fabric used for clothing, and features tightly pleated sleeves and a yoke stitched to a skirt. Researchers say the garment was clearly worn in life as it showed distinct creasing at the elbows and armpits. It was also discovered inside out, although some believe it was deliberately placed in the tomb that way as a form of funerary significance. Initially found in 1913, the significance of the find wasn't understood until 1977. The tunic was part of a linen pile that had been excavated but wasn't cleaned or properly examined for more than 60 years. Conservators at the Victoria and Albert Museum in London mounted the garment on a backing of fine silk to allow it to be displayed as it would have been worn in real life, or in life. Oldest pants. 3,000 years. The world's oldest trousers were found in the Yanghai tombs in China in 2014, and despite obvious use, are still in pretty good condition. Researchers believe the pants were custom made by separately weaving 3 pieces of cloth, the legs and crotch area, which were then sewn up using matching thread. The pants also feature intricate geometric designs that were woven directly into the fabric, resulting in a comfortable looking pair of pants. A modern remake of the pants was floated on this site. Hopefully this is a better link than the other one they had. That's gone too. Researchers say pants likely evolved among equestrian tribes in the region around 4,000 years ago for protection and comfort while riding horses. The desert conditions surrounding the Yanghai tombs have helped preserve a plethora of delicate textiles and fabrics. Other finds there include colorful sheepskin boots, feathered hats, a fringed skirt, and a tiny loincloth. That's pretty cool. They should do like an exhibit, get all of these items from around the world and have them all in the same spot. So you can just go and see the oldest of everything all at once. Alright, here's that purse. The world's oldest purse, 4,500 years ago. I thought this was a lot older than 4,500. I, for some reason, was thinking that this was a caveman purse, but I guess I was wrong. Call it the original houndstooth bag. In 2012, archaeologists unearthed the world's oldest purse in a grave near Leipzig, Germany. Made of leather or fabric that has since disintegrated, the purse was covered in more than 100 dog teeth from dozens of animals. Researchers say what's left looks much like a modern handbag flap, with all the teeth pointing in the same direction. Dog teeth were also found in the hair ornaments and necklaces, leading researchers to conclude it seems to have been very fashionable at the time. Just give it time, it'll come back in style, I'm sure. The excavation site has turned up a wealth of artifacts from the Stone and Bronze Age settlements, including stone tools, bone buttons, and an amber necklace. Researchers also discovered a much later grave of a woman buried from around 50 BC with about a pound of gold jewelry. Wow. It's a very valuable discovery. Yeah, it's kind of wild that they can even tell that this is a purse. What is this, like is this the flap down here? Yeah, it's really wild when you sit back and think about how old humanity is. It's at least 170,000 years, probably way older than that. I think in the Cave of Forgotten Dreams, I know I mentioned this in another video and I always forget if it's accurate or not, but I remember hearing somewhere that I think they said that these people were staying in the same cave for like 200,000 years, which is insane when you think about it. The oldest sweater, 1,700 years old. The world's oldest sweater was found, appropriately enough, on a Norwegian glacier in 2013. Made of lamb and sheep wool woven into a diamond twill fabric, the greenish-brown boat-neck sweater was made to fit a man who was about 5'9". The design may have been fashionable in Iron Age Europe. Both the cut and the size of the sweater closely resembles another garment found in a bog more than 150 years ago. That's pretty cool. It's so awesome that some dude was wearing that almost 2,000 years ago. The sweater appears to have been both well worn and well cared for, having been patched twice. It may also be one of the oldest surviving examples of upcycling. Some researchers believe it may have originally been a sleeveless tunic, with the sleeves added around the time of the second repair. More than 50 fragments of textiles have been discovered in the glacier, many of which are still undergoing dating and analysis. Researchers believe global warming will result in more ancient garments and accessories coming to light in the coming years. Wow. Yeah, I imagine he probably repaired everything himself. Like he's probably out doing some kind of expedition or exploration, and something happened. He had to take care of it right then and there. A lot of survival skills were needed back then for sure. Look how good these socks look. I mean, they look like Ninja Turtle socks, but but the condition is amazing. It looks like something that you could have like gotten at Goodwill like last week. They look a little uncomfortable. I don't know. I mean, I've seen this style before with like Japanese socks, but I don't know. Much younger than the majority of this list, the world's oldest socks are still very old, dating back to somewhere between 250 and 420 AD. Considered to be Romano-Egyptian, the socks were discovered in a burial ground in an ancient Greece colony in central Egypt in the late 1800s. Wow. Described by some observers as alien socks or lobster toes, the knitted wool socks are bright red and feature a split toe, which researchers believe was done to allow them to be worn with sandals. Yeah, that makes sense. They're considered a very rare example of a type of knitting called nail binding, or single needle knitting, which is described as a very slow technique more similar to sewing than modern knitting. You can learn how to do it here. Now I'm good on that. They would have been started at the toe and then finished at the ankle. Oh wow. It's surreal that some dude was wearing that back in the day. And number one on the list is from another article that I covered not too long ago, the oldest bra and panties. Now, these were actually discovered in Austria under the floorboard in like a vault, like hidden away. And they were, I don't know why they were hidden away, if it was like some kind of like scandalous thing like back in medieval Europe to have, you know, something like this. I wouldn't think so. But who knows what was going on back then. Practically brand new compared with the rest of the list, the world's oldest unmentionables were discovered under the floorboards of an Austrian castle in 2008. 4 linen brassieres decorated with lace were found in a pile of more than 2,700 different textile fragments in between the floor drawers of Langberg Castle. Researchers believe the bras date to somewhere between 1390 and 1485, when they were charmingly referred to as breast bags. I don't think that would market too well today. All 4 include distinct cups and shoulder straps, while 2 appear to be more of a combination between bra and short shirt, including a row of eyelets on the left side for lacing. The clothing heap also revealed a few pairs of surprisingly modern-looking panties, which apparently were worn by men, not women. If you're curious about how the world's oldest bra would have measured up, you can make your own version of it from newest patterns online. I'll pass on that as well. Yeah, look at this thing. Yeah, it actually looks relatively modern, especially compared to like this stuff up here. And it's still amazing how good shape this is, considering how old it is. What, like 5,000 years ago. So was this around in the time of Moses? Let me get my history a little bit. I've been around that time, I think. Well, there you have it. The world's oldest articles of clothing, including some jewelry sets. So let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed me going through this. I'm going to be working on some movie reviews pretty soon. I'll try to get that out. It's taking me a little bit of time because I got to go through everything. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, take care.